It's that simple.
We found them coast to coast, in the best of places. Thugs, rapists, suspected thieves.
Did you take a watch out of that room?
Does anyone care who gets hired?
They should be checking for criminal records. They don't.
Catherine Cryer, with a story every loving family should see.
What do you have to say about the tape?
Are your loved ones targets of the predators? And you won't believe your eyes. 4 years old and still breastfeeding. Women who nurse say it's the only way to go. Women who don't feel judged.
You're a terrible, terrible mother, and you don't deserve to have children.
Is the bottle really so bad?
I don't think it's a coincidence that the bottle-fed generation was also the drug generation.
She felt pressure to nurse. Now her baby is disabled. Experts say the breast is best. But is it best for everyone? Lynn Scher with an eye-opening story about mothers, babies, and the pressure of doing it nature's way. Plus, the eve of opening statements. The case against O.J. Simpson looks strong, but defense lawyers have a strategy.
There were some unbelievably sloppy things in this case.
And a provocative surprise. Wait until you hear about it. The strength of the defense. Those stories tonight, January 20th, 1995, after this brief message.
Okay, we take turns at the wheel, we never sleep, use cruise control, and if we only allow 2 minutes per fill-up, we'll be at the Super Bowl just in time for kickoff.
Yeah, but does that include stops at McDonald's for 95-cent Big Macs and Egg McMuffins, Mr. Rand McNally guy?
Nothing ever happens in the first quarter anyway.
That's true.
New Secret's 4-hour cough drops help stop coughs far longer than menthol drops for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, up to 4 hours. New Secret's 4-hour cough suppressant.
You might think your dog wants variety, but constantly switching his food can sometimes lead to finicky eating behavior. So feed your dog a consistent diet, Purina Dog Chow brand dog food every day.
To begin, a story that may affect one of the most important and difficult decisions you will ever have to make. Whether to put an aging parent in a nursing home. Tonight, an explosive investigation. We've spent 9 months checking out nursing homes across the country, focusing on the people who have daily, often intimate contact with the elderly residents, the nurses' aides. And what we found is a national disgrace that every family should know about.
Who are these people who have control over our loved ones when they're most vulnerable? Well, with the help of hidden cameras and families who trusted these institutions, you'll learn the undeniable truth. These aides are too often thieves, and they're frequently callous, sometimes very dangerous. And authorities say many are hired with little regard to their backgrounds. As Catherine Cryer discovered, what you see is often a far cry from what you get.
For many families, there's no choice. A nursing home is the only option for an aging loved one. You can do your best to find a place that appears charming and serene and hope that it's well worth the thousands a month it could cost. But if you believe this guarantees that the right people will be caring for your parents or grandparents, you're wrong. This is what happened to Dorothy Cleveland. Her family says the nursing home told them she had merely fallen down.
This isn't from a fall. It's not from a fall. I could drop her down a flight of steps. She's not going to look like that.
The local police chief agrees.
I've never known anybody to be strangled by a fall. There was handprints around her neck.
This is not a story about bad conditions in nursing homes. It's about bad people who end up working there. Experts say nursing homes around the country routinely hire people who are unfit and unqualified to care for the elderly. Some homes have even become havens for criminals, those with records for everything from theft to murder.
This is Maple Hill Nursing Home. It costs about $3,000 a month to live here in this plush Chicago suburb. Yet according to relatives, theft has been a rampant problem.
I knew things were being taken, and I wanted to know who was doing it.
Maureen Taig's father had been living at Maple Hill for a year and a half. At 70, he's a victim of Alzheimer's disease. Disoriented and alone, he still craves his independence. His daughter recalls the day when he merely wanted to have some pocket change, something that was his.
He'd sit in a chair and he goes, "You know, I don't have any money in my pocket." I went, "Really?" I'd give him $1 or $2, or I would put a $5 bill. He had no place to spend it, but he wanted it. You know, this is a man 70 years old who, he wanted some dough in his pocket.
But she says his valuables kept disappearing.
His sister, Margaret, gave him a very nice necklace. And I, even when he was wearing it, thought, maybe this isn't a good idea. I was gone for 2 days, and I came back and his necklace was gone.
Outraged about this, Maureen allowed us to put a hidden camera in her father's room. She put out a few incidentals, some candy, and she put a $10 bill in his dresser drawer. First, the aides came around and helped themselves to his candy, and helped themselves, and helped themselves. Then an aide went to the bureau drawer and fished around. Watch closely as he pockets the $10 bill. The elderly in nursing homes are easy prey for thieves. Just ask former nurse Ronald Duker. He says workers practically salivated over the private property of the patients.
Did you see the ring Mrs. Joe came in with? Oh my, I would love to have that. Or John so-and-so keeps throwing his watch off. You know, I guess he don't want it. Well, girlfriend, take it, you know.
The reason Duker knows so much is the same reason he's in jail. He was convicted of stealing from nursing home residents. According to him, it's easy to tell when a resident has been ripped off. With rings, Duker says there's a surefire trick of the trade.
The lubrication of the hand is the best way I can think of. In the morning, when you're going to check the patient, you know, I knew she had a ring on her finger. You can see the dried up lubrication and gel they use, the dried up lotion they use.
It's no wonder our cameras captured theft at Maple Hill Nursing Home in Chicago. Take a look at the kind of people who are working there. Ronald Ches, whose criminal record includes battery and burglary. Anthony Calvin, a record for battery. Albert Allison, felony drug possession. He was on probation while working at Maple Hill. Daniel Shepler, charged with assault. In fact, there was a warrant for his arrest when we found him working there. Monroe Jackson, 2 convictions for burglary, 1 simple battery. Nathaniel Porter, armed robbery. Henry Bates, robbery. Russell Holtz, unlawful possession of a firearm. All in all, at least 9 nurses' aides working at Maple Hill had serious criminal records. Sally Stedman used to be a nurse's aide at Maple Hill.
A lot of them were there because there were warrants out for them. They were hiding out from their wife, their girlfriend. It was just a place to stay to hide out, basically.
And that's because at Maple Hill, the male aides actually lived on the premises.
Most nursing home owners are not a bit careful about who they hire.
Mary Rollins is a former nursing home inspector for the Department of Health in Wisconsin. She found conditions in the homes so disturbing and the health department so ineffective, she says she quit out of frustration.
They should be checking for criminal records. They don't. They should be checking for ordinary satisfactory references from other facilities. They don't.
Now, why would nursing homes do this, though?
Money. Money.
But they make plenty of money, don't they?
Yes, but they make more if they don't do it right.
Experts point out that nursing homes are required by law to employ a minimum number of nurses' aides. But the average pay they offer is notoriously low, usually close to minimum wage. And while many nurses' aides are hardworking and devoted, it's a difficult and often unpleasant job. For those reasons, there is an extremely high turnover. Balance the legal staffing requirements with the high turnover, experts say, and you'll see why nursing homes often hire any warm body. Hearing that, we again put our hidden cameras to work, this time at the Harahan Guest House outside New Orleans. This is 95-year-old Ruth Martin. She says she complained that $120 was stolen from her. So a 2020 associate producer placed some money, small amounts over a period of time, and a watch that cost us nearly $90 in the room. Keep in mind that this is supposed to be Ruth Martin's private property. For all the workers know, it could be all she has in the world. Still, within a few days, the money was gone. Here's what happened to the watch. An aide who was identified for us as Rose Gordon comes into the room. Gordon, who has a record of numerous arrests and a conviction for theft and battery back in the 70s, checks out the watch. She finds it to her liking, wraps it in her fist, and disappears. And that's the last we saw of the watch. Associate producer Greg Fisher caught up with Rose Gordon outside her house.
Now, what do you want to show me?
Come here. I want to show you some video from Harahan Guest House.
He showed Gordon the video of the watch being stolen.
Is that you at the guest house? Did you take a watch out of that room? It was a watch.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
Oh, well, I don't know whether that's because I can't see. I say it's not. I say I didn't take no watch from there, okay?
But
she denied even working at Harahan Guest House.
Do you work at Harahan Guest House?
No, I do not.
You don't work at Harahan?
But 2020 has obtained Harahan Guest House personnel scheduling records for the night in question, and they show that Rose Gordon was working on that night. She then suggested we all go to Harahan to show them the tape.
Okay. Why don't we go show Harahan Guest House the video now?
We could.
Let's go. I have no problem with that.
Rose Gordon got in her car and drove off. But then she disappeared. Still, we wanted to talk to the nursing home's owner, Robert Rotello, but he refused to talk to us on camera. However, the local police chief, John Doyle, did.
What did you find?
I found out that quite a few of his employees had some serious criminal record histories, and at least 13 of them were wanted at that time.
Chief Doyle went into Harahan Guest House and arrested those employees with outstanding warrants. And then he made an offer to the home's owner. Chief, you offered to do background checks for Mr. Rotolo.
Yes, I have.
Be sure his employees were all clean.
That's correct.
Did he take you up on that?
No, he has not.
So, some 5 months later, 2020 did its own background checks on some of the employees we saw working at Harahan. And we found 6 with criminal records, including theft and assault.
If they've done their time and they've paid their price to society, they ought to have an opportunity to go back to work. Should we be barring them from this type of profession? Absolutely, we should be barring them from that type of profession. They have no business being in that kind of job where the patient's going to be at risk. They're dealing with helpless, ill people.
2020 cross-checked nurses' aid registries with prison records in 3 states we chose at random: Arkansas, Iowa, and Wisconsin. We found hundreds of criminals with records ranging from petty theft to rape and murder registered as nurses' aides. And advocates for the elderly tell us crime in nursing homes is rampant and nationwide. In fairness to the nursing home industry, it's not always easy to get background information about prospective employees. Sometimes police records aren't available or they're incomplete. Information about arrests without convictions is not easily obtained, and some homes refuse to give references about former employees. Many of the nursing homes say they would never knowingly hire a criminal. They say it's the system that's to blame. Be that as it may, the elderly residents are the ones who suffer. In Minneapolis, our affiliate KSTP puts about $70 in a resident's room. A parade of nursing aides come in and help themselves to his money, and they clean him out. At the College Park Nursing Home in Menlo Park, a wealthy community outside San Francisco, a nurse's aide rifles through one resident's personal belongings. In this case, a greeting card with a cash gift inside. Soon she walks away with something in her hand. When we checked the room, $15 was missing. On another day, the same aide goes through the resident's nightstand and stuffs more money into her pocket. All told, hundreds of dollars in valuables and cash disappeared from this room. Later, I caught up with the nurse's aide.
I'm Catherine Cryer with ABC News. Can we talk to you for just a moment? I have no comment. We're going to have to.
But then she agreed to stop and look at the hidden camera footage we had taken.
Yeah, you want to take a look at this? Now, this is in Margaret Gorman's room. And there was some money in there. And if you take a look at that tape right there, you're going through her drawers and you're putting money in your pocket.
I wasn't putting no money in my pocket.
Well, now, she had money in the drawer there, and there were several things missing from her room, including a chain and a watch and money. Well, what do you have to say about the tape?
No money. I didn't take no watch, and I did not take her necklace.
If it was just an issue of theft, it would be bad enough. But these aides aren't just stealing. Some of them are capable of much worse.
In Chicago, Maureen Tague began to think her father was becoming accident-prone.
In about a 4 or 5 month period of time, we went to the emergency room 3 and 4 times. In the beginning, I thought he was real klutzy. I did not ever, in my wildest mind, think that anyone could have hurt him.
But some of our hidden camera footage confirmed her worst fears. The strong and loving man who had raised her had become more than a victim of theft. He had become a defenseless victim of physical abuse.
The picture worsens as our investigation continues. The elderly are not only robbed on a regular basis, they are also victims of shocking abuse. And what happens to the nurses' aides who are caught? You won't believe it. More of Catherine Pryor's report next.
أصاحبي أنا مقلق مرتني الإدارة نرجع لجميع الكمبيوترات اتصلوا ببعضياتهم أنا ما نصنعش الصواريخ
واش حكيتي مع أبيهم في الموضوع؟
لا لا
شوف راهم كلهم يجعلوا الكمبيوتر ديالك يتصل بالكمبيوتر ديالهم ويتصل بأي كمبيوتر.
وعندك نمرة التليفون ديالهم؟
معلوم غادي نصيفط لك مكالمة إلكترونية.
I'll be right back.
The new Trooper Limited from Isuzu is thoughtfully equipped with stuff like dual airbags and extra skid plates, so that you're always prepared no matter where you go.
You may already be a $10 million winner.
Even if it's just down to the corner and back.
Did you eat something you didn't want for breakfast?
No, did I?
Cheerios has added salt.
Salt?
Toasted oatmeal honey nut has added fat.
They add fat?
Healthy Choice has added sugar.
As in sugar?
But Nabisco shredded wheat has no added salt, fat, or sugar. It's 100% whole grain wheat with a delicious toasted wheat simple taste. How does that sound?
It sounds great.
Nabisco shredded wheat. It's just naturally good.
There's nothing soft about the software business, especially when it's yours. Product cycles used to last years. Mine, more like minutes. The money side is a distraction. It's hard to focus on cash flow and 401k plans while your programs are crashing around you.
Take control of your future. A plan from Merrill Lynch can show you how. And a Merrill Lynch financial consultant has more ways to make the plan work for you than anyone else. The difference is planning. The difference is Merrill Lynch.
In business, the only thing you know for sure is that every day will bring the unexpected. Up 1 minute, down the next. Only AT&T is bringing certainty to the uncertain world of business. Calls that get through, faxes that get through, and our prices will be competitive, guaranteed. We thought this might help you get through another day in business. AT&T, for the life of your business.
Sunday.
We must find a way to neutralize Superman.
A powerful beam of light has Superman losing his sight.
Can you see anything at all?
Can they find a way to get it back? On an all-new Lois and Clark, Sunday here on ABC.
Sheen, Stallone, Russell, and Eastwood. 4 big stars, 2 great nights, 1 bad attitude. First, Clint Eastwood and Charlie Sheen are on a collision course with action. Fasten your seatbelt. The Rookie, Sunday. Then, Monday, the all-out action continues. Sylvester Stallone. We're on fire! And Kurt Russell.
Yeah, we're cooking now.
Are Tango and Cash. The Rookie Sunday, Tango and Cash Monday. It's 2 great nights with 1 bad attitude. Parental discretion advised.
Well, so far, our investigation has uncovered a disturbing fact that the problem with some nursing home aides is both serious and widespread. But stealing is not the worst offense against older residents. As Catherine Cryer's report continues, you will see with your own eyes that they're also the victims of outrageous physical abuse.
Dorothy Cleveland was a devoted mother and grandmother who spent most of her life teaching children. At 63, she suffers from Alzheimer's. For a time, she lived at the Harahan Guest House right outside New Orleans. That's the same nursing home where we saw a watch stolen earlier. She'd been there 4 months when the family got a call that Mrs. Cleveland had had an accident. This is what she looked like. But her children don't believe she had an accident.
The story I got was that a table in the cafeteria fell on my mom, but she uprighted the table and got back to her room.
Someone beat her. I mean, it's that simple.
The family tried to get answers, but they say the nursing home was no help. Finally, they went to the police. 2 nurses' aides told the police they saw this woman, Sandra Hayes, push Mrs. Cleveland into a room, then one heard her yelling at the elderly woman. Sandra Hayes was arrested and charged with beating Mrs. Cleveland. Hayes denied the charge, and the district attorney later dropped the case because there were no eyewitnesses. She no longer works at the Harahan Guest House, but it turns out this wasn't the first time Hayes left a nursing home job amid allegations of mistreatment. It had happened twice before. One time for leaving an elderly resident lying in her own feces. We caught up with Hayes to ask if she planned on working at another nursing home.
Would you work at another nursing home?
Talk to my voice.
Do you feel that?
If she wanted to, she could very easily work again in a nursing home. Here's why.
The health department in each state keeps registries of nurses' aides, people who've had basic training in working with the elderly. These agencies are supposed to investigate and document any charges that aides are neglectful or abusive. But experts say the agencies may not hear about the incidents, as many times homes fail to report them. And experts add they rarely call police.
But that didn't stop Chief Doyle. He started investigating Harahan Guest House and says he uncovered an absolute scandal.
But it was like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Some of this stuff is unbelievable that was being reported to us.
What sort of stories did they tell you?
How they would take hoses, squirt the patients in the face, the ones that couldn't talk, squirt them in their body cavities, make cuts on them, bruise them, drop them.
And they can get hired over and over again. Richard Turman worked for the Beverly Nursing Home Corporation, which owns more than 700 nursing homes around the country. He got a job at the Nevada Manor Nursing Home in Nevada, Missouri. Here in a video deposition taken from prison, Turman talks about what happened there.
The document says that you allowed patients to lie in their own feces. Is that correct?
That's what it says here.
And that's true, is it not?
As far as I know, it possibly was.
Turman was forced to resign from that Beverly facility, but all he had to do was drive 80 miles to Independence, Missouri.
Breastfeeding is more than just feeding. I can't imagine parenting without it.
The warmth, the closeness, the bonding, it's delightful.
These mothers are passionate about breastfeeding.
I think most women know that it is the right thing to do for their baby.
That's because human milk is highly specialized and simply cannot be duplicated. Breastfed babies reap numerous health benefits, including better brain development and reduced risks of infections, diarrhea, allergies, perhaps even some cancers.
But just because it's the way nature intended babies to get their first nourishment doesn't mean the process always works. And in some cases, the enthusiasm for breastfeeding, some might say zealotry, can lead to heartbreaking consequences.
Chaz Floyd came home from the hospital the day after he was born. 5 days later, he was rushed to an emergency room. Severely dehydrated, he had not been getting enough fluids. Frank and Pam Floyd say they followed the advice of every expert they spoke with and all the literature they read, telling them to feed their baby nothing but breast milk.
And I actually met people when I was pregnant that would come up to me and, have you read this? Have you seen this?
Without your asking?
Right.
You talk to doctors too,
Yes.
right? Nobody ever said there might be some problems?
No. Nobody.
Nothing.
Everyone was like, you're a woman, you have a child, you can breastfeed, period.
But after a few days, things seemed terribly wrong.
He got where he would suck a little bit and then just start screaming. I called friends, I called doctors, I called nurses. I called my pediatrician's office twice. And I got told things like, for one, I was a first-time mom, so therefore I was overreacting.
They told you this?
Yes, told me I was overreacting, told me it takes time.
By the time Chaz got help, he had suffered a stroke.
What did the doctors tell you at that point?
He doesn't have a very good chance. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, he knows it would be lucky if he made it through the night.
Chaz did make it, but not unscathed. His brain damage led to cerebral palsy. At 15 months, he still can't sit up by himself. The pediatrician's office says it can't comment because of patient confidentiality. But Chaz is not the only infant to suffer from breastfeeding failure. Dr. David Rubenstein, a Philadelphia neonatologist, has seen many such victims. A major problem, he says, is early discharge, a recent trend to push mothers out of hospitals quickly, sometimes only hours after birth.
I believe that the breastfed baby who becomes dehydrated has a preventable complication of early discharge. I believe with education and with support for the mother, many of those babies would not become dehydrated.
Did she weigh?
Denver pediatrician Marianne Neifert says too often new moms are told they should breastfeed, but they aren't taught how to do it.
I don't think any of these mothers are at fault. I think this is a failure of the healthcare delivery system.
She says most problems can be corrected, but in rare cases, nursing is just not possible.
Every breast does not work. I have lots of personal observations and data and case reports to confirm that.
Are women in this country under pressure to breastfeed right now?
Yes, I think we have some women that have been convinced that to not breastfeed is really making them an inadequate mother.
That's exactly how first-time mom Beth Levine felt when her efforts failed.
It was the most traumatizing start that we could have. I felt that he was rejecting me at the most basic level, that I was a totally inadequate mother, that there was something very wrong with me.
After months of frustration, Levine finally turned to formula. Her friends criticized her for giving up too soon.
I think there's a very strong pressure from society that this is the only choice, and if you do not accomplish this, you're a terrible, terrible mother, and you don't deserve to have children.
Put it in the trunk of the car. Okay, that's enough for that big.
Catherine Young, whose magazine reaches 15,000 households, admits she's on an all-out breastfeeding crusade. She insists human milk is a baby's birthright.
Every baby that's born should be breastfed, without exception, especially the sick, especially the premature, but very definitely the healthy and hale and term babies.
Young, who runs the Friends of Breastfeeding Society from her farmhouse near Toronto, distributes promotional material worldwide. She says she has no doubt that today's adults are paying the price for being bottle-fed infants.
I don't think it's a coincidence that the bottle-fed generation was also the drug generation. That 20 years after being bottle-fed, we were all chasing around, smoking marijuana, dropping LSD, looking for that kind of fix that we never got in our first 2 years of life.
If that seems an extreme position, take a look at this mother, one of Young's neighbors happily breastfeeding her 4.5-year-old daughter.
Are you getting some? Does it taste good to me? Oh, it is.
Nancy Brenner of New York had no compunctions about nursing her 3-year-old son in public. She and her friends formed their own breastfeeding support group.
What made you decide to go so long?
I thought it was wonderful that he was now at the point where he could talk about it, where he could tell me what he wanted. He could tell me it was good.
What if someone does have all the information and she just decides for whatever reason she just doesn't want to do it?
I think that's fine if that's her choice. I feel like it's a terrible loss to her and the baby.
Do you think less of her?
When I see a baby with a bottle, something inside of me says, yuck. I think when I see someone who's bottle feeding, right or wrong, I make the decision that we probably don't have as much in common.
I think the promotion of breastfeeding has gotten out of hand.
Abby Fisher, who chose to formula feed, was bombarded.
You're a first-time parent. You've been reading too much literature out there between the baby magazines, the women's magazines, and they were all telling you that breastfeeding is the way to go. I could see how some women fall into the emotional abuse of these militant people who will say to you, breastfeed or don't bother feeding the child.
I got screaming, I got a starving child, I got tears, I got hysteria. And when I got my warmth and bonding was when I finally gave that child a bottle.
Beth Levine wrote about her hurtful experience and got an avalanche of letters in return. Many from women saying, "Thank you, I thought I was the only one." Others were more like this.
God gave women breasts to breastfeed their children, not so that their mothers would indirectly hand their babies nutrition over to a cow's teat's milk and to a rubber nipple.
We have heard from some women who say that they think the breastfeeding advocates are bullies, that they're really coming on too strong.
Some do. If breastfeeding advocates come on a little strong, it's because strong measures are really needed. We're not in a society that offers us a lot of support, information about breastfeeding. I had never seen another adult human being breastfeed a child up close before I had my own child.
How does society look on women who breastfeed today?
Women's breasts are sexualized, and they're only seen in that light. So the message in our society really is, if you have to feed your baby, go to the toilet. Mm-hmm. And that's a very powerful message.
Those who believe in breastfeeding are now getting some help from society. The former Surgeon General recently joined the United Nations initiative to make hospitals baby-friendly. That is, to teach and encourage breastfeeding and discourage formula company marketing directed at healthcare providers and new moms.
Breastfeeding is a natural process. It doesn't naturally...
La Leche League, a mother-to-mother breastfeeding support organization, now has 3,000 chapters worldwide.
Breastfeeding is more than just a baby and a mother sitting down together. It is what we call a learned art.
But Dr. Neifert cautions that breastfeeding advocates sometimes oversimplify the issues. For example, there are repeated warnings to avoid nipple confusion, a catchy phrase which means a baby given a bottle might not go back to the breast. Those warnings haunted the Floyds.
I was told 101 different things, but the bottom line was you do not supplement, you do not give him a bottle because you don't want to get him nipple confused.
What was the conflict going on in your own head?
My gut feeling was that I should give him a bottle.
Because she didn't, she says, Chaz now struggles in physical therapy. The Floyds are trying to raise $8,000 to enroll their son in a special program for children with cerebral palsy. Since going public, they say some people blame them for scaring women away from nursing. One woman sent a video letter.
You can bet that formula executives are currently turning cartwheels in the boardrooms after seeing this negative publicity.
Do you think there's anything wrong with all the people that are saying breastfeeding is a wonderful thing? You should do it for your child?
I still think breastfeeding's good if you can do it, and I think every woman should try it. But I think they need to know what to look for, and I think if their gut feeling is it's not working, I don't care who's back there telling you keep doing it, I say ignore them.
Experts agree. Trusting your own instincts is good advice. If something seems wrong, go for help immediately. Don't accept phone advice or take a wait-and-see approach. Parents should learn not only the benefits of breastfeeding, but how to make choices that are right for them.
Boy, Lynn, it certainly helps if women can get proper information ahead of time and during the early time of breastfeeding.
Well, that's what everyone says, that even before you have your baby, you should line up the people you're going to use. There are lactation consultants, people you can talk to while it's going on. You should seek medical advice. You should let your doctors know that you're going to do this. And if you get discharged early, or even if you don't, you should have follow-up exams. Very, very important. You can't just do it without any help.
Absolutely. You know, Lynn, that my work with UNICEF over the years leads me to my personal advice to a young mother would be, if you can't breastfeed and you can't hire a wet nurse, formula can save your baby's life, but it's not an equivalent to breast milk.
Absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, Hugh, in this country right now, the breastfeeding rates are below 60%. That's not very good. The goal at the moment is to get them to 75%.
75, right. And it's unfortunate that women are bullied about this because that's counterproductive to getting it up to that percentage.
The way it is with all zealots.
Thank you, Lynn. Well, now, O.J. Simpson, his murder trial begins Monday. The prosecution's case looks strong, but the defense team has mapped out an interesting strategy, including new and startling information. We'll look at that in a moment.
This is Jergens body shampoo, and this is the sponge. Just a little squeeze, and you've got enough lather for the entire shower.
Just quick and easy. Just a little squeeze really cleans your body.
It rinses off so easily. My skin feels so smooth. It tingles, feels great. Just a little squeeze, and a little squeeze here. It feels fantastic.
Just a squeeze!
I am through with bar soap forever. Hey, just squeeze it, baby.
Jergens body shampoo.
You've got to try this.
Business is the engine of society. Without it, there would be no jobs, no products, no competition, no advancements. Business is the engine of society. See how far it takes you. See how far it takes us all. This is the software that moves you forward.
Okay, we take turns at the wheel, we never sleep, use cruise control, and if we only allow 2 minutes per fill-up, we'll be at the strip ball just in time for kickoff.
Yeah, but does that include stops at McDonald's for 95-cent Big Macs and Egg McMuffins, Mr. Rand McNally guy?
Nothing ever happens in the first quarter anyway.
That's true.
Unlike Jeep, the new Isuzu Trooper comes standard with dual airbags, because you can't choose who you share the road with.
ABC News 2020 will continue in a moment.
Saturday on The Commish, Tony goes undercover to bust a prostitution ring.
Hi, sugar.
But when he finds his friend's daughter selling the goods, it's up to Tony to set her straight.
I gave you a break, and look at what you did with it.
The Commish, Saturday here on ABC.
Monday, Coach kicks off Super Week.
Yes! They're on the 50-yard line.
They're going to the Super Bowl.
15 rows back from the field.
Only one problem, getting there. An all-new coach. Then Brett needs a date.
Well, let's see what we have here.
And he's got to turn to an escort.
Can't you pull it down or something?
Sure, up, down, it's your money.
A whole new ball game after Coach, Monday on ABC.
When you take the long view, it's obvious this land has to last a long, long time.
That means you have to farm right, producing more for right now while protecting all this for the future. One grass herbicide helps you do both. Frontier herbicide. It's how to get more control of tough grasses in corn and soybeans while using a lot less. With Frontier, what's right for right now is right for tomorrow. Frontier. Best against grass, best for the land.
The ground rules have been set in the O.J. Simpson case. Late today, in a long-awaited decision, the judge said he may allow the defense to raise some accusations of racism against Detective Mark Fuhrman. It was a small victory for the defense, which had lost critical arguments all week. For one, the prosecution can introduce allegations of domestic abuse against Simpson. Also, the prosecution struck another blow today, claiming it has new information about the bloody glove found at the murder scene. Employees of the Bloomingdale's department store reportedly are ready to testify that Nicole Simpson bought a similar pair of gloves at the store back in 1990. So the case against Simpson seems very strong. How will the defense fight back? Well, as ABC News correspondent Aaron Brown will show you, Simpson's lawyers have mapped out an aggressive strategy.
The court can see that this is a very strong case, proven easily beyond the strong suspicion.
There's a mountain of evidence pointing to this defendant's guilt.
Those punches, slaps, that pushing is a prelude to a homicide.
And Wednesday, the judge ruled the jury can hear about some of those alleged punches, slaps, and pushes. They can be part of the prosecution's case.
First of all, he broke the back door down to get in.
They become not simply a motive for murder, but the tools to recast what many would argue is the defense's best weapon, O.J. Simpson himself. Not O.J. Simpson, the defendant, but O.J. the sports hero, the Hollywood celebrity, the good guy. The allegations of domestic abuse are the last important piece in what prosecutors call their mountain of evidence. The defense will try and turn it into a molehill built on reasonable doubts, a classic murder defense, challenging motive, forensics, the police investigation, and challenging the allegations of domestic abuse.
First, the defense points out to the jury that these are allegations. They will challenge the truth of many of these allegations. Second, the defense will point out that most men who abuse women they live with do not kill them. And third, they'll suggest to this jury that there's a character assassination going on here. They'll try to turn this type of evidence against the prosecution.
And don't assume they won't now aggressively attack the image of Nicole Simpson. The defense plans to offer evidence that Nicole, too, had a violent side, that, for example, she once slapped a maid. It is critical for the defense to turn LAPD's own investigation against the prosecution. The preliminary hearing made that much clear.
We're going to show that the 4 officers that were in charge of this crime scene left the crime scene with a very short period of time without properly preserving the crime scene.
And if the crime scene was not properly secured, if evidence could have been contaminated, then doubt is raised as to the reliability of that evidence, fertile ground for the defense.
The evidence at the scene was trampled on and contaminated by the police themselves. It won't be hard for the defense to paint the LAPD as having done an investigation in a very slipshod fashion.
Because, in fact, there were some things that were sloppy.
There were some unbelievably sloppy things in this case.
And there will be surprises. ABC News has learned there was a second set of shoe prints at the murder scene. Not the Reeboks taken from Simpson's home, but a designer shoe with a distinctive tread. Who wore that shoe? An unanswered question and more doubts. And doubts in one area can lead to doubts in all areas, even the blood evidence that seems so strong at the preliminary hearing.
We may fairly say that 99.57% of the population is excluded as a
In the trial, the blood tests will be more sophisticated. DNA testing. The prosecution will argue a perfect science. The defense will argue that sloppy evidence gathering leads to imperfect scientific conclusions.
By the time the defense experts are done, the jury might very well be confused about the value of at least some of the scientific evidence.
Defense strategy then to overwhelm and confuse?
Absolutely. The more confusion the defense can breed about the reliability of DNA testing, the greater the likelihood that a juror will say, well, I can't convict beyond a reasonable doubt.
Reasonable doubt. It's what the defense must create. what the prosecution calls Simpson's obsessive stalking and spying, the defense will call unusual restraint when he saw his ex-wife intimately involved with another man. Even the chase will be disputed. Was it flight, evidence of guilt as the prosecution contends, or was it simply, as Simpson has told friends, a desperate man believing he was framed, ready to kill himself? A classic murder defense played out before a jury 2/3 black and half female. What will that jury do with those questions raised about the police investigation? How will they see those recast events? The defense must prove nothing, but must raise doubts. Credible, possible, reasonable doubts.
So, opening statements are scheduled for Monday. ABC News will have live coverage, and we'll be right back.
Coming up next on Channel 27 News.
A look at nursing homes around Madison and tips to finding a safe one.
And Jay Wilson has the battle for the Badger in the Prep Report. Join us. Channel 27 News is next.
Is a cat's urinary tract health important?
Cat Chow's Special Care brand cat food is formulated to help maintain your cat's urinary tract health. Purina Cat Chow Special Care. Better care makes better cats.
Now it's time to check in with Nightline. Ted Koppel has a preview of tonight's program.
Tonight on Nightline, one of the most modern cities in the world. Hundreds of thousands of its residents are now homeless, scavenging for food, searching for warmth. The shocks and the aftershocks of Kobe tonight.
That's Nightline after your local news. Well, that is 2020 for tonight. We thank you for joining us.
And remember, we're in touch, so you be in touch. I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Hugh Downs.
And for all of us here at 2020, have a good, safe weekend and good night.
"2020 is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. Watched by more people than any other network. ABC.
Believe it. Buy the things you want and pay nothing till next year at American.
I really wanted a good receiver. American had it. I found this Onkyo. Great brand. ProLogic, $378. I'm taking it home, but I'm not paying for it till next year.
American, yeah. If you're looking for a stereo, they've got them all. I got this Sony system. It's got everything. 5-disc CD changer, $595. And then they tell me I pay nothing till 96. Can you believe it?
At American, you can believe it. No money down, no payments, and no interest till January 1996 at the same low price at American.
Never before in automotive history have so many new cars and trucks been introduced in 1 year by one company. That company, Chevrolet. See the 1995 lineup of Chevrolet and Geo cars and trucks at your Wisconsin's best Chevy Geo dealers.
Each dealer negotiates its own prices.
From WKOW-TV Madison, this is Channel 27 News at 10 with Jeff Gillen and Wendy Warren. Straight to the point.
You may have just watched a very disturbing 2020 report where nursing home aides abuse their elderly patients. You may also be wondering, does that happen in Madison?
You know, putting a loved one in a nursing home probably is the most difficult decision a family has to make. The question tonight, are they safe? Night Team reporter Kim Dawson is live in our newsroom tonight with more. Kim?
Well, close to 30,000 people in Wisconsin actually live in nursing homes. And if it's your relative, you do want to make sure they are safe. Abuse is a problem, but according to the Division of Health, for the most part, the care received at nursing homes is good.
When I come to see her, sometimes I comb her hair.
After Sharon Hewitt's mother had a stroke, she chose to put her in the Oakwood Village nursing home.
Both my husband and I are working during the day, and so it's very difficult for us to take care of her the way she needs. She really needs round-the-clock care.
Private care at home was expensive, so the Hewitts began their search for a nursing home with one thing in mind.
Well, I wanted someplace that I felt that she was safe.
It may be hard to think that someone would harm senior citizens, but it does happen. Statistics from the Division of Health show in Wisconsin there were 1,197 complaints for the year. However, only 362 of those complaints were legitimate.
If an aide is found to have committed those acts, they are permanently banned from working in a nursing facility under both state and federal law. And our members are vigilant.
Workers who are committed to caring for the elderly say there are more stories showing love and concern than those showing abuse. But how do you really know the person you love is safe?
It's important for people to visit at, unusual times, visit during meals, visit later in the evening, visit early in the morning, and just kind of observe what happens.
We investigate, and nursing homes do not want to be cited by us. We also require forfeitures in some situations, and they can lose their license, which is their livelihood.
Now, if you suspect abuse or just want more information, locally, you can call the Division of Health at 266-8476. Nursing home administrators we talk to say most people are in the business because they do care and want to help. On the night team, I'm Kim Dawson in the Channel 27 newsroom.
Madison spent the day digging out from yesterday's record snowfall, more than 12.5 inches right here in Madison. The storm will cost the city $138,000 for plowing and salt, and Madison won't take in as much for parking tickets. Police only wrote about 400 tickets in downtown and the Isthmus area. That's down from over 1,300 after the last storm. Reports that an Indiana man confessed to murdering Lori Deppes and writing about it in his diary are false. That's according to Menasha police investigators. Deppes disappeared from the Appleton area more than 2 years ago. Larry D. Hall is in an Illinois jail on another kidnapping charge. FBI authorities are analyzing evidence from his car to see if he could be linked to Deppes' disappearance or other cases.
A Brown County man was sentenced today for killing a 5-year-old girl. Johnson Gray Buffalo will probably spend the rest of his life in prison. The judge put him there for 75 years without parole. He was convicted of stabbing the 5-year-old and stuffing her body in a garbage can. Police arrested him in Madison a few hours later in a van stolen from the girl's family. A Wausau junk dealer pleaded insanity in a Marathon County court today. Carl Steppert's accused of killing a 7-year-old girl and shooting 5 others execution style last November. Records say Steppert thought somebody stole money from his basement. A judge ordered Steppert to undergo a mental evaluation. He's in jail tonight on $300,000 bond.
University Hospital did not turn away a mentally ill patient earlier this month. The woman had told her psychiatrist that UW Hospital put her on a bus to Milwaukee instead of treating her. But a state investigation found that was not the case. In fact, there's no record the woman was ever a patient there. The psychiatrist admits the woman may have been imagining the whole thing. A follow-up to last night's story on the professional firefighters of Wisconsin. We've had calls from viewers who are upset because they've also given money to that fund. The organization has given this number for people wanting a refund, though. It is 244-7332. They say checks will be sent out refunding your contribution.
Give more power back to the states. That is the bottom line tonight from Congressman Scott Klug. Klug and several other lawmakers are trying to do away with unfunded federal mandates. He says states should be able to make their own laws on helmet and seatbelt use as well as the drinking age.
And rolling back mandates that are already on the books. And simply, for once and for all, return power back to the state capitals so that those people have control over their own lives, that it's not Washington and Washington congressmen and Washington bureaucrats telling those states what they should do.
Klug wants to lower Wisconsin's drinking age to 19. Governor Thompson said yesterday he would support the idea if the state does not lose federal money.
A 2-day-old strike at the GM plant in Flint, Michigan may be over. Negotiators reached a tentative agreement on Friday, but officials with the United Auto Workers said details of the agreement would not be released until Sunday. That's when the union members will vote on the deal. The Flint strike left workers at 9 other GM plants idle, including the one in Janesville. Our welfare system has been bashed from Wisconsin to Washington, but the work of a group of former welfare mothers in Dane County is reason for praise. These women received awards for using Dane County's jobs program to find work. Diana Jamania fled war-torn Sarajevo. She got an insurance job after getting child care and more job skills through this welfare program.
I used to work in my country. I worked as a travel agent, and I know what works mean to the soul.
Despite these success stories, at least half of the people in the county's jobs programs are still looking for work and still on welfare.
The O.J. Simpson trial is set to start Monday morning. Up next, we're going to tell you about some big decisions Judge Ito handed the defense today.
And later in the News Extra, we'll tell you how this unlucky golfer got sucked into the course.
This is Channel 27 News, straight to the point. With Jeff Gillen, Wendy Warren, Bob Lindmeyer, and Jay Wilson. Channel 27 News is brought to you by American. Amazing place, amazing prices.
Believe it. Buy the things you want and pay nothing till next year at American.
Wow, I get this new 27-inch TV, a Zenith with stereo. I got it for $379, and I'm paying nothing till next year.
So the cable goes out again. I've had it. I'm getting that RCA satellite dish. It's about the size of a large pizza. American had it in stock $6.99, and I'm not paying for it until 1996. Can you believe it?
At American, you can believe it. No money down, no payments, and no interest till January 1996, and the same low price at American.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then seeing well is invaluable. For complete eye care, from professional exam to perfect fit, look no further than the Optical Center at Shopco.
The human link. It's the attention, the caring, the professional advice you can trust. So it means you'll find more than just low prices and convenient service at your Shopco pharmacy. You'll find your Shopco pharmacist.
Do you dream of a new look for your home? Why just dream? See it and do it. Get ideas for your projects and talk to local contractors at the 1995 NARI Home Remodeling Expo, January 20th through the 22nd at the Holiday Inn West. You'll see windows, bathrooms, whirlpools, kitchens, flooring, room additions, and much more. Over 90 exhibitors and 12 free seminars. The NARI Home Remodeling Expo, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Holiday Inn West. Co-sponsored by MG&E.
Today's lesson, how to get more for less. If you want a new car with air, anti-lock brakes, cruise, and stereo cassette, you can pay more for a Nissan Altima or get it all in a Pontiac Grand Am for about $2,700 less. Want more? This Grand Am comes with things you can't even get on the Altima, and it still costs less. So get more. Don't pay more. Buy now and get $500 cash back or 6.9% financing on Grand Am. See your Pontiac Pay Centers. Each dealership negotiates its own prices.
A few big developments in the O.J. Simpson case tonight. Prosecutors say they'll show Simpson bought gloves just like the blood-stained one found at the murder scene. 8 Bloomingdale's employees will testify. Meanwhile, Judge Lance Ito ruled the defense can submit evidence that the detective who found that bloody glove is a racist. Simpson's lawyers say Detective Mark Furman planted the glove to frame O.J. Opening statements are scheduled to start Monday morning. If you're an ABC soap watcher, here's what Monday afternoon looks like. ABC's coverage of the trial starts at noon. They'll have the prosecution's opening arguments from noon to 2. Then General Hospital from 2 to 3 and Doogie Howser until 3:30. The network will then go back to the trial for the defense statements until 5 p.m. This schedule is only for Monday. ABC's programming will change daily throughout the trial, and we'll keep you up to date.
2 Boston area college students are in big trouble with the law there tonight. These 2 young men go to Boston College. Police say they tried to sell an undercover cop some heroin earlier this week. One of the men allegedly took $90 in exchange for the drug. Both students are sophomores at the school. The U.S. lifted some economic sanctions against North Korea today. It is the first step toward ending the trade sanctions that have been in place since the Korean War back in the 1950s. Some of the moves include letting U.S. telecommunications companies do business with North Korea. U.S. citizens can now use credit cards there, and U.S. news organizations can now open bureaus in North Korea.
U.S. loan guarantees to help Mexico's lagging economy are running into some big trouble on Capitol Hill. Republicans are blaming President Clinton for not getting Democratic support for the bill he's pushing, but House Democrats are furious over a Republican memo. They say it hinted action on the bill would be delayed if Democratic attacks on the Speaker continued.
This poisons the well. It makes it much harder to get there. It would have been very hard without this.
The author of the memo, Representative Jim Leach, says the memo was misread and denies making any threats.
In Japan, 10 more people were pulled out alive today from the ruins of the Kobe earthquake. But the death toll also climbed. It now stands at more than 4,500 people. About 660 people are still missing. Japan is starting to let foreign help in. U.S. planes flew in thousands of blankets today. And Japan's prime minister admits his government should have done a better job handling the disaster.
Okay, here's a weird story for you. Customs officers in Sweden detained a woman after noticing what they called something weird about her. Upon investigation, they found 65 snakes in the woman's bra and half a dozen lizards crawling around in her blouse. Well, the woman told authorities she wanted to start a reptile farm. The woman is being charged with smuggling.
A groundskeeper finds a friend in a park trash can. That's in the News Extra.
But first, Bob Lindmeier's back, and he'll have our weekend forecast, so stay with us.
Need a better way to get through the winter? Try a Dodge Caravan. With front-wheel drive traction and automatic transmission, this Caravan takes ice and snow in stride while taking it easy on your budget. With $500 cash back on select models and up to $1,000 in discounts from package value. Dodge Caravan. With all this plus standard dual airbags, it's the best way to get over the river and through the woods to Grandma's or anywhere else.
America's best-selling minivan, Dodge Caravan.
Starts with a single step, and then it goes. Starts with a single step, and then it goes. Starts with a single step, and then it goes.
Starts with a single step. How are you going to do it? Who are you going to do it for?
Starts with a single step, and then it goes.
Friday and Saturday at the Coliseum at $10 for any seat. It's classic family entertainment. Minivans, and more minivans. Our minivan selection has never been better at Don Miller Chrysler Plymouth. Get your brand new 95 Plymouth Voyager equipped with air, automatic, dual airbags, and a powerful V6. Drive it home for a low $16,195 after rebate. Or choose from over 160 Voyagers, Grand Voyagers, and Chrysler Town & Country minivans, all in stock and ready to go. If you're looking for a minivan, now is the time at Don Miller Chrysler Plymouth, 1 mile east of Easttown. Get pumped.
Get primed.
Get ready for the huge fitness sale now at Chalet Ski.
Save 30 to 50% on our best high-tech equipment.
The store-wide fitness sale now at Chalet Ski.
Channel 27 News continues with Bob Lindmeyer weather.
If you're a snow enthusiast, you must be in seventh heaven. This is just great weather. Lots of snow on the ground, and there's still some snow in the forecast. I don't think we'll see much more in the way of accumulation this weekend, but we're certainly not going to lose any of the snow we receive. And, of course, there's lots of it out there. Let's take a look at our current weather picture. Skies are cloudy. There's a few flurries in the air. Temperatures at 24 degrees. Humidity at 74%. Northwest winds at 15 miles per hour. That puts the wind chill factor in the single digits. The pressure's falling. It's at 29.82. Let's take a look at snow cover, and you'll notice that Madison has 10 inches officially, and that's about it through central and southern portions of the state. The heavy snow band actually worked its way up from western Illinois into south central Wisconsin, and from there it really kind of dissipated. You'll notice that the next closest total around here, 4 inches in Green Bay, 3 inches in Milwaukee. You have to go up to the Lake Superior shoreline to find substantial snow like us. They do have 17 inches by the time you reach Superior. And this is the latest weather picture. Skies are cloudy, not only across Wisconsin, but through the entire Midwest region. The brighter, whiter clouds have some snow associated with it. They have some accumulating snow taking place in lower Michigan. Off to the west, there's just basically some snow flurries back through Minnesota and North Dakota drifting into Wisconsin. That's going to be our weather story tonight, just a few on and off snow flurries. The satellite view is really spectacular. It shows that strong storm now in the eastern United States. Moisture's been swirling in from the Atlantic Ocean, then coming down into the Great Lakes region. But again, most of the weather action is off to the east close to that storm center across Wisconsin. It's just a few snow flurries right now. That's confirmed on our NextRad radar. It shows how there's precipitation out here. Lots of this is still rain in New England. The snow is really on the back side of the storm. Off to the west, there's rain moving into California, too. Fortunately, it's not a repeat of the extremely heavy rains that they had earlier on this month. Here's a look at the current weather picture. Again, here's that storm center off to the east. There's a separate area of light snow off to our west. In the next 24 hours, that eastern storm is not going to move hardly at all. Its influence is going to extend way out to the west into Wisconsin, but its influence will be minimal. I'm just looking for just occasional light snow tomorrow going into Sunday. Northwesterly winds will keep it on the cold side. I'm still looking for highs in the 20s through the weekend. Wind chill factors generally in the single digits. We'll be back with more about the weekend right after this.
Channel 27 weather is brought to you by Zembrick Honda and ZVP.
Hey, honey, take a look at this.
Well, I never saw such a thing. Wow. Looks like they're
Buying used cars indoors at the Zembrick Indoor Used Car Showroom. So when you need a high-quality late-model used car, come to Zembrick. And don't get stuck out in the cold.
Honey? Anybody?
Zembrick Indoor Used Car Showroom, corner of Fish Hatchery and the Beltline, Madison.
Take a look at our forecast details. They do include a few snow flurries. For tonight, just occasional flurries are expected. A low temperature under 20, northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow, cloudy, some light snow or flurries, maybe a trace of accumulation. That should be about it. High near 25, those winds will stay on the brisk side. Tomorrow night, some light snow or flurries again, a low of 15, and something like a broken record, some light snow and flurries on Sunday. Minimal accumulation, if any, high 22. Some light snow or flurries Monday. Oh, got to break that pattern. Just dry Tuesday and Wednesday, but highs low to mid-20s, kind of seasonal for this time of year.
Well, after this last one, I think I'm one step closer to getting a snowblower.
I think many
almost.
people
I think
are.
so. We're almost there.
A lot of snow to shovel. Thanks, Bob. The Badger hockey and women's basketball teams try to steal a couple of wins on the road tonight.
And the NHL season begins the same way the last one ended. Jay Wilson has sports next.
It's big, it's white, and it's only here for a limited time.
It's the Reggie White sale.
That's right. Your Ford dealer's having a sale, and everything Reggie wants on sale is on sale.
Sell them all.
Everything's on sale, like Ford Aerostar and Ford Windstar. Now drive Windstar for only $299 a month. This is an FMCC lease. Each dealer negotiates own terms.
It's the Reggie White sale at your local Ford dealer.
But hurry, this is no ordinary sale.
Sell them all.
Growing families are tough on furniture. It's a fact of life. But nothing outlasts the destruction years as beautifully as fine quality wood furniture from Shelf and Dining. If you're looking for great values for your home, come see our wide selection of quality wood furniture, all at a price you just can't beat. Come see what a difference quality can make in your home.
Shelf and Dining Furniture. Wood Furniture Specialist.
Save hundreds of dollars during our winter sale.
Big rig coming through, make way!
Hurry, it means Whirlpool truckload sale. Main Appliance and Whirlpool have dropped prices. Now this is a truckload sale.
The trucks are moving out into Maine.
And the Whirlpool appliances gotta move out. Top Whirlpool appliances are priced to move at Maine.
Get this Whirlpool self-cleaning range, just $397. A Whirlpool built-in dishwasher's $194.
Take advantage of the situation.
The Brothers Maine.
Hurry, Maine's Whirlpool truckload sale ends Sunday at 5.
While you're waiting for the weather, remember this. For superior winter hardiness when it's cold and extra yield potential when it's hot, it pays to plant 5454 from Pioneer.
Channel 27 News continues with Jay Wilson Sports.
For all the grief the NHL lockout caused for hockey fans, players, and management, all is forgotten tonight. It's time to drop the puck on the better late than never National Hockey League regular season. It is showtime at Madison Square Garden. Buffalo at the Rangers. Look at the welcome for Mark Messier. They bring the Stanley Cup down from the scoreboard like the Holy Grail. Up goes the banner. Everything's going real well, and then they play the game. And Buffalo beats New York. The final score was 2-1. Donald Audette with a game winner there. Also tonight, Detroit and Pittsburgh have posted NHL victories. In college hockey, Badgers and Northern Michigan skate to a 1-1 tie in Marquette tonight. Joe Bianchi gets the Badger goal. Paul Spina with the Northern Michigan goal. They'll play again tomorrow in Marquette.
Colorado College at Minnesota. That's Jesse the Body Ventura, the former pro wrestler, giving a pep talk to the Gophers. That didn't work for them either. Tim Suizo with a pretty backhanded sweeper for CC, and the Tigers open up an even bigger lead at the top of the WCHA. 4-3 Colorado College. Duluth and Tech skate to a 3-3 tie. St. Cloud State bumps off North Dakota 9-2. Anchorage and Denver play in the third period. Badger women's basketball team tries to hang on to the lead in the Big Ten Conference. Wisconsin visits Minnesota, and it's another win on the road for the Badgers. Frankie and Anderson with 19 apiece. Jane Albright Dieterle's 200th career win. And more good news as Iowa knocks off Indiana 60-55. Men's college basketball, Marquette visits Dayton. This is the old pick and roll play. Amal McCaskill picks and rolls and stuffs. Marquette beats Dayton 70-58. Rippon's men, Whitewater's men, Platteville's men win. MATC's men also win in overtime. Chad Peterson with 52 points. The Packers signed 7 free agents today, including former Badger defensive back Reggie Holt, who was cut last August by Green Bay. And the golf shot of the day, Jim Gallagher Jr. at the Northern Telecom Open. It's in. Phil Mickelson leads at -12. Steve Stricker at -2. Cindy Johnson, the LPGA leader, at -4. Sherry Steinauer, even par. And the prep report.
Coming up. All right, Jay, you got
Thanks a lot, Jay.
Old Man Winter's really heating things up in Connecticut.
We'll tell you about the hot market for fur bikinis in the 27 News Extra.
Hi, I'm Parker Drew, and this is the official Wisconsin Lottery Super Cash drawing witnessed by the certified public accounting firm of Conley McDonald and Company. Match the 6 numbers we draw from 36 in any order and win our top prize of $250,000. First number tonight, 32. 32. The second number, 25. 25. The third number is 29. 29. The fourth number, 14. 14. Cash prizes for matching 4 and 5 numbers as well. The fifth number, 17. 17. And the sixth number for $250,000, 31. 31. Once again, 32, 25, 29, 14, 17, and 31. Thanks for playing Super Cash. Good night and good luck from the Wisconsin Lottery.